I took the weekend to listen to the entire Bitter Truth album and kind of immerse myself in it and really pay attention to the lyrics. And I have some thoughts just to kind of wrap up. I know that I did a bunch of reaction videos, so I don't have a ton to add. I think that my reactions did show a lot, but I'm just going to kind of go through anything that stood out to me and then wrap it up with kind of my ranking, which songs I like the best, and rank the albums, because I've been seeing people online talk about this is their best album, this is their favorite album from Evanescence, and I would like to put my 2 cents in and say how I think that they would rank for me personally. So starting out with Artifact the Turn, as I said in my reaction video, I just thought that this had a really cool atmospheric sound. It showcased an electronic sound that I want to hear more, and it made me think back over a decade ago when they were making what is now their self-titled album, but at the time they were going a completely different direction, and we thought that we were going to get an electronic album from them. They completely scrapped everything. So I wonder if a couple of songs off of here kind of came from that, because I know that she talked about how a lot of, or some of the songs off this album have been shelved for a while, and then she kind of brought back out and finally was able to complete them. So I wonder if this song and another one, Feeding the Dark, might have been from that era, because they sound the most different from everything on the album. So I just wonder if it came from that time period. But a few of the lyrics that really resonated with me are underneath golden skies, you will always be there. That I think is a clear reference to her brother, and it makes a beautiful image in your mind, of someone you love under a beautiful sky, that might have passed away, but under the golden sky, they're alive and you can see them, and it's just this beautiful image that you can have in your mind. And the way that you would want to remember somebody, it's a heartbreaking but, happy image at the same time. And the part where she says, in the mirror in my eyes, you will always be there. I realized, this might have been obvious to everybody at first, but when you're first listening to music, you don't realize everything at once, even something that might be obvious. But that line is apparent, that she's saying that just literally in their family, they all kind of share a lot of features. In some families, they don't really look alike at all, but in her family, I noticed that they all do have very similar features, and literally they all have blue eyes, I think. And so in her eyes and in the mirror when she looks at herself, because they favor, she's going to see her brother there. So it's kind of a reassuring but sad reminder that literally when you look at yourself or other family members, you see the family member that's not there anymore. So it's a bittersweet reminder. But it was very short. It was the intro to the CD. I wish it was longer. I wish they would do more music like this. I wish that they would put out an entire album in this style, which that is an opinion that I think that others might share as well. I know at least one person who commented on a reaction video that I did said the same thing. So this is definitely one of my favorites. Broken Pieces Shine. I think what I'll do, so I'm going to put in my earbud, and I might be yelling at the camera. I'm going to really try not to, but I'm going to try to listen to these parts of the songs that I'm referencing while I'm talking about them, if I can. This part right here is that not the truth? So, I mean, it literally, that part, I just feel like they're so true and they would hit so deep for so many people. You get to a certain point in life when maybe you have your own personal experiences that just feel like you're surviving every day and it's hard to get through. Or just look around you, like look at the world. It's not an easy place to be. It's not an easy place to live, just in general. All the things that happen in life, all the things that you go through, the loss that you experience. And so the lyrics about how survival hurts, it really, really does. And I know where she's speaking from her experience losing family members, but when you're the one left, you're still there. So it's like, I keep breathing, I'm alive, I'm here, but I'm not fine. And you have to try. And for her, I know she has a kid, and I'm a mom too. And so speaking from my experience, you know, whatever you go through, no matter how hard it is, you still have this kid that's dependent on you. And you have to try. You have to get through it because you're still here. And you have to deal with the loss, whatever it is. And so I feel like those lyrics can be true in so many situations, and I think that's why so many people, no matter what your experience is and what you've been through, we can all relate to that. It's universal. I mean, to me, I feel like those lyrics are so, that line there is so poignant because when something happens in your life, if you've experienced loss, something catastrophic in your own life, and you think the world is ending and you think it's the worst thing ever, and then you realize I'm not the only one this happens to, and life goes on, and it almost makes you feel kind of insignificant, but I don't know, like in a way unified because you're not the first person to, like, it's not a unique experience, loss or whatever it is that you're referring to that you're surviving. It's a universal thing, so it can make you feel small, but also it can make you feel united and less alone in a way, just because we all go through it. So I just thought that that line was very poignant. I noticed that the songs Yeah Right and Better Without You that I did previous reaction videos to, I like a lot more the more that I listen to them, and within the context of the album. Now that I know all the songs, I like them more now. And it's funny because the other day I was going to go get Mediterranean food, and I had my 1-year-old in the back seat, and I was playing this CD, this album, and I got home and I turned, the song was still going, and I turned around to look at her in her car seat, and she was just like, she was loving it. I was playing Better Without You, and she was just dancing in her car seat. And my daughter, she there's, if you to look at her, there's a little bit of me sprinkled in there, but really she looks like her dad and his side of the family. But there are certain things that I'm like, okay, that's how you know she's my kid. Like, she actually really loves Evanescence songs, and she really likes Amy Lee's children's album. So I'm like, I don't know if it's because I listened to Evanescence when I was pregnant with her, or it's just good music, and why wouldn't you like it? But I just thought that was funny. I was like, that's how you know you're my kid. I feel like Yeah Right is kind of like this album's Call Me When You're Sober. It has that same energy and sass to it that's kind of how I started thinking of it when I was listening to it this weekend. I'm like, this definitely reminds me of Call Me When You're Sober. And when I first heard Call Me When You're Sober, it was very different. And I feel like it took me a little bit to warm up to it, but now I really, really like that song. Now the next song is Feeding the Dark. I love this song. I'm going to pull it up and play the part that I really, really like. So when it starts out, that Just the way it starts, I really like it. This part and the guitar. And just the whole time you're listening to it, you're just like, literally, I'm driving, I'm just like, that guitar is so good. It's actually the best part to me. Yeah, the guitar is really, with it droning underneath Amy's voice. It's just such a good song. And like I said, that's the other song that I feel like sounds most different, in addition to the Artifact, The Turn. I wonder if this was one of the electronic sounding songs that they were working on before they switched and did what they did with their self-titled album. And then up next is Far From Heaven. This part here.
Dreaming makes for sweet escape, but I can't forget.
That line, I feel like we all know what that feels like. When something horrible happens, whether you've lost somebody or whatever it is, you can go to sleep and escape for a little while, but when you wake up and you've forgotten for a little while, and then it all just hits you like a wave and you remember again and you have that weight again. And that line, wake up to a new day, break my heart again, it's like over and over. It's like you can escape at night when you're sleeping and you wake up and you just know what that feels like, waking up every day over and over again, until somehow it hurts less. I don't know, but those lyrics definitely stuck out to me, and I've just felt like we're so universal, and we all know what that feels like. Literal goosebumps. I don't know if you can see them. Can you see them? Yeah. Goosebumps. Probably was just screaming at you then. Apologies, because I was trying to immerse myself. But sometimes, I mean, for me, I know that she's a Christian and she believes in God. I don't have that, but I feel like we all kind of have that moment sometimes where it's like, even if you don't have a faith in something, you might feel like you're experiencing something so horrible that you're just like, literally is no one out there. Like, is there nothing? Is everything just random? Why is this happening? It just sounded like such a desperate cry kind of out into the void. Like, is there anybody there? Because if there is, why are you doing this to me, basically? And I don't want to lock down, but we've lost so much. And will you forgive me if I can't see your light anymore? Like, those are just can it get more heartbreaking than that? I mean, it just sounds like a broken person, like somebody that's just completely shattered and a shell of a person. And you can always count on her to make the most heartbreaking, sad, gut-wrenching, relatable song. And I know that's one of the songs that they added last minute. I'm so glad they did. I mean, it just adds so much value to this album, and it wouldn't have been the same without it. So now comes my favorite song from the album, Part of Me. And then it just so that part there, when the I Will Be More Than My Survival starts, it really just feels like a wave, or like what you'd imagine a phoenix rising looks like. That's what it sounds like. And it sounds like a huge tidal wave or a tsunami. That part of the song reminds me of a couple of their previous songs for a couple different reasons. I think more than anything, it reminds me of Never Go Back from their self-titled album, with just the sound of it, the way that it rises and sounds wave-like, you know, and just with the intensity of it. Also, it reminds me, not as much, but in a way, of My Heart Is Broken, because also from their self-titled album. Because it's one of those songs where she's just like kind of crying out to the universe. And she has this way about it in certain songs that, and then literally, you know, My Heart Is Broken, she's singing about my heart is broken. So, and this song sounds like a heartbreak song too. And when you go back and listen to that song, it's, on that chorus, she's literally just like giving it all that she has and putting it all out there. And they're very similar, the two songs, or the three songs, in that way. Those are just the last few little things that I noticed / loved about some of my favorite songs from the album. One of the things I'm hearing also kind of like in the Evanescence community of the fans is the quality of the songs. They don't like the mix, or they don't like the audio quality. I'm really not sophisticated enough to really be able to talk about, you know, how something should be mixed. I don't know. But I guess I kind of do see what people are saying about how Amy's voice is kind of equal to the music or sometimes drowned out, whereas in other albums, her voice soars above and it's a little bit more equal and just sounds better. I kind of do see that, but it's not anything that if I hadn't heard other people talk about, it wouldn't really be distracting to me. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know much beyond music other than just appreciating it. I don't know how to make it. I don't know about the tools and mixing and all that stuff, but so if I could rank the songs, I would say my favorite is Part of Me, which I've already said. Second favorite, Artifact, The Turn, followed by Feeding the Dark, Far From Heaven, Broken Pieces Shine, Blind Belief, Better Without You, Yeah Right, Wasted on You, Use My Voice, The Game Is Over, and then Take Cover. And then I'm also seeing people rank the albums because people are saying that this is their favorite album, that they are making that bold statement. And I have, Evanescence songs have been with me through my entire adulthood. And as I said in one of my previous reaction videos, I can look back at certain really important parts of my life and remember listening to these albums, or like these albums came out during really important parts of my life. So this album is brand new, and I haven't had time to live with it yet. And so I can't say that this is my favorite album, but I love this album. It's amazing. It's solid. I don't really have any complaints. I think it's amazing. But I would pretty much basically rank the albums in the order that they came out in. Fallen is, you know, Hello, I think, was probably my favorite song off of that album, followed by Haunted and Imaginary. I remember when I first heard Hello, I thought it was one of the most beautiful songs I'd ever heard. I mean, and it still is one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard. The Open Door, Lithium, Lacrimosa, The Only One, and Good Enough are some of my favorites. Their self-titled album, I loved Erase This, End of the Dream, Never Go Back, and Swimming Home. Synthesis, Imperfection, and High Low were a couple of the standouts off there. And then The Bitter Truth would be last, but again, not because it's not good, but just because I don't have the history with it yet. But I love this album. And let me know if you would like for me to react or re-react to some of Evanescence's previous work or any of Amy Lee's solo projects. I plan to anyway, but let me know if that'd be something you'd be interested in seeing. And that wraps this up. So until next time, I will see you in my next video, and I hope you're all enjoying this new album by Evanescence. I know that I am. And that's it. See you next time.